Chapter 18. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel his people, and that the Lord had brought the children of Israel out of Egypt. At page 86, Jethro advises Moses. To then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took his daughter Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, 3, and her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershon, for he said, I have been an alien in a foreign land. For and the name of the other was Eliezer, for God, the God of my father, said, He was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. 5. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where it had camped at the mountain of God. Six, and Moses was told, Behold, your father-in-law Jethro has come to you with your wife and your 2 sons accompanying him. 7. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and did obeisance and kissed him, and they asked each other of their welfare, and they went into the tent. 8. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that they had suffered on the journey, and how the Lord had delivered them. 9. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, because he had delivered them out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh. 10. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, for he has delivered his people from under the rule of the Egyptians. 11. Now know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for despite the counsel which the Egyptians had devised against them, he triumphed over them. 12. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, offered burnt offerings and sacrifice to the Lord, and Aaron came, and all the elders of Israel, to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. 13. And it came to pass the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from morning to evening. 14. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all he did for the people, he said to him, What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit in judgment all alone, and all the people stand by you from morning to evening? 15. And Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to inquire of God. 16. And when they have a controversy, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make them know the statutes of God and his laws. 17. And Moses' father-in-law said to him, The thing that you are doing is not good. 18. You will surely wear yourself out, both you and all the people that is with you, for this thing is too heavy for you, and you are not able to do it alone. 19. Now listen to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God shall be with you. You must become a teacher from God to the people, and bring their disputes before God. 20. And you shall warn them to keep the ordinances and the laws, that you may show them how to conduct themselves in the works that they must do. 21. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men who fear God, truthful men who hate bribes and deceit, and appoint such over them to be officers of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. 22. Let them judge the people at all times, and when they have an important matter, let them come to you. But every small matter they shall judge for themselves, so it shall be easier for you, and they shall bear the burden with you. 23. If you do this thing, and God commands you so, then you shall be able to endure, and all these people shall also go each one to his own house in peace. 24. So Moses listened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had told him. Page 87, God speaks at Sinai. 25. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and appointed them officers over the people, officers of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. 26. And they judged the people at all times, and the hard cases they brought to Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. 27. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went to his own land. Chapter 19. In the 3rd month after the departure of the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sin. 2. Then they journeyed from Rephidim and came to the wilderness of Sinai, and they encamped in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mountain. 3. And Moses went up to God, and God called to him out of the mountain and said to him, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, for you have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you as though you were on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. 5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be my beloved ones above all peoples, for all the earth is mine. 6. And you shall be to me a kingdom and priests and a holy people. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and said in their presence all the words which the Lord commanded him. 8. And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people to the Lord. 9. And the Lord said to Moses, Lo, I am coming to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and also believe you forever. And Moses told the words of the people before the Lord. 10. And the Lord said to Moses, Go to the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. 11. And be ready on the 3rd day. For on the 3rd day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. 12. And you shall publish a warning among the people, saying, Take heed to yourselves, neither go up into the mountain, nor draw near to the border of it. Whoever draws near to the mountain shall be put to death. 12. And if you 13. No hand shall touch it, but it shall surely be stoned and hurled down, whether it be beast or man. It shall not live. When the trumpet is silent, then you are permitted to ascend the mountain. 14. And Moses went down from the mountain to the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. 15. And he said to the people, Be ready on the 3rd day, do not touch your wives. 16. And it came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud appeared upon the mountain, and the sound of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so that all the people that were in camp trembled. 17. Then Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the base of the mountain. 18. And the whole mountain of Sinai was smoking, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. 19. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by a voice. 20. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai to the very top of the mountain. The Lord called Moses up to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the Lord 21. And the Lord said to Moses, Go. Go down, warn the people, lest they break through to the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. Page 88, the 10 Commandments. 22. And let the priests also who come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. 23. And Moses said to the Lord, The people cannot come up to the mountain, Mount Sinai, for thou didst warn us, saying, Set bounds about the mountain and sanctify it. 24. And the Lord said to him, Hasten, go down, and then come up, you and your brother Aaron with you. But let not the priests and people break through to come up before the Lord, lest he kill them. 25. So Moses went down to the people and he told them. Chapter 20. And God spoke all these words, saying to, I am the Lord God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods except me. For you shall not make for yourselves any graven image or any likeness of anything that is heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. 5. You shall not worship them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a zealous God, visiting the offences of the fathers upon their children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. 6. And showing mercy to thousands of generations to those who love me and keep my commandments. 7. You shall not take a false oath in the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not declare him innocent who takes an oath in his name falsely. 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 9. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. 10. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant. Nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor the sojourner who dwells in your towns. 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the seas and all the things that are in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord declared blessed the Sabbath day, and sanctified it. 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you. 13. You shall not kill. 14. You shall not commit adultery. 15. You shall not steal. 16. Neither shall you bear false witness against your neighbor. 17. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, nor shall you covet your neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. 18. And all the people observed the thunderings, and the lightnings, and the flashes, and the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw all of this, they were afraid, and they stood afar off. 19. And they said to Moses, you speak to us, and we will listen, but let not God speak to us, lest we die. 20. And Moses said to the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you, that his worship may be before your faces, and that you may not sin. 21. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. 22. And the Lord said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. 23. You shall not make for yourselves gods of gold to be worshipped with me, neither shall you make for yourself gods of silver. 24. An altar of earth you shall make to me, and you shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings, and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I shall make a memorial to my name, I will come to you, and I will bless you. Page 89, Laws and Ordinances. 25. And if you make me a stone altar, you shall not build it of hewn stones, for if you lift a tool of iron upon it, you will have polluted it. 26. Neither shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness be not exposed on it. Or 1. Your undergarments, such as we have today, were not worn then. Chapter 21. Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. 2. When you buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve you, and in the 7th year he shall go out free from your house without price. 3. And if he came in single, he shall go out single. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. 4. If his master has given him a wife, then she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be his master's, and he shall go out alone. 5. And if the servant shall say, I love my master, my wife, my children, I will not go out free. 6. Then his master shall bring him to the judges, and he shall bring him to the door or to the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. 7. And when a man sells his daughter to be a maidservant, She shall not go out free as men servants do. 8. If her master hates her, so that he will not take her to himself as a wife, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no authority to sell her to a foreign people, because he has dealt deceitfully with her. 9. And if he takes her for wife to his son, then he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. And if he takes her to himself, another wife, he shall not diminish her food, her clothes, and her conjugal rights. 11. And if he does not these three things to her, then she shall go out free without price. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. 3. But if he did not lie in wait for him, but God delivered him into his hands, then I shall appoint for you a place which you may flee. 14. But if a man ventures to attack his neighbor and slay him treacherously, you shall take him even from my altar and put him to death. 15. He who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. 16. He who steals a person and sells him, or he is found in his possession, he shall surely be put to death. 15. He who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. I've read that. 17. He who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. 18. And if two men quarrel and one strikes another with a stone or his fist and he does not die, but is put to bed from the injury. 19. If he rises again and walks in the street with his staff, then the one who struck him shall be acquitted, except that he shall pay for the loss of his time and the physician's fee. 20. And if a man strikes his servant or his maid with a staff, and he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. 21. But if the victim is well, after a day or two, he is not to be punished, for he is his property. 22. If two men quarrel and strike a woman with child so that she miscarries, and yet no mischief follow, he will surely pay a fine such as the woman's husband will lay upon him. He shall pay as the judge determines. But if mischief follows, then you shall give life for life, an eye 24, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for foot. 25. Burning for burning, wound for wound, slap for slap. And if a man strike the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid and injure it, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. 27. He knocks out the tooth of his manservant or his maidservant, he must let him go free for his tooth's sake. 28. If an ox gores a man or a woman that he or she die, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and its meat shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be blameless. Page 90, Laws and Ordinances. 29. But if the ox were known in the habit of goring in the past, and its owner had been warned, and he has not kept it in, and it kills a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner shall be put to death. But if a sum of money is imposed on him, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatever they ask from him. Whether the ox has gored a son or a daughter, according to this judgment, it shall be done to him. 32. If the ox gores a manservant or a maidservant, the owner shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. 33. And if a man shall open a wheat pit, or a man shall dig a well and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall into it, 34. Then the owner of the pit shall pay money to the owner of the animal, and the dead animal shall be his. 35. And if one man's ox gores another man's ox so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money, and the dead ox also they shall divide. 36. But if it be known that the ox had been in the habit of goring, and the owner has not kept it in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead animal shall belong to him.